Or don't go. Now go.
All right. Well, sorry, got a tickle in my throat. Hang on. Okay. So I am going to pop up a presentation in just a second, but before I do, I want to just clarify that what this is not, right? This is not about social media marketing. This is not about, Facebook algorithms. This is not about content creation. We have amazing people in Master Networks, several of them in this room to help with that. So that is not what this is about. This is about how to show up in social media communities in an authentic way, in a way that is sort of aligned with our Master Networks culture and can mimic the core values that we try to live by in an in-person world. So with that, let me pull this up. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about social media networking the Master Networks way. So if you think back, right, Facebook was created to be a network, right? The social network. So it's a place where networking can happen. And it's a place where communities can come together. And so it can be a really valuable space for all of us as business owners and leaders and entrepreneurs to show up to put our businesses out there. But we want to do it in a way that is not spammy, is not just transactional, that really lives by the core values that we all talk about week after week. So I kind of put together 4 quick rules, if you will, about how to do this. The first 2 of these rules are about how you can show up for your own business. And the second 2 are about how you can refer other people's business and do it in a way that makes you a valuable member of the community, that builds relationships and does all of those things. So rule number 1, which is probably the most important, and it's the same thing we say every time we go into breakout rooms, we go into face-to-faces, ditch the pitch and bond. We can do that on social media as well. So I'm thinking about, say, a Facebook community group like Rockland Mommies. If somebody is posting a question about like the Rockland Boulders game and, how to get tickets and whatever, that's not the opportunity for you to come in and be like, did you know I'm a family photographer and I do pictures at Rockland Boulders Stadium? And if you're going to be at the game, like, that is not what the person was asking about, right? Like, that is not the place to start pitching your business. But maybe it is the place to be able to say, oh yeah, I went to the game last weekend. Here's a few tips to make sure your kids have a great time. This line is shorter for snacks, and make sure you get on the train early, and all of those things, right? Because you can build on a common interest. You both like the Rockland Boulders. You both like baseball. You can get to know each other. And then as you build that relationship, eventually in the future, it becomes more appropriate to talk about your business, right? Same thing that we do in the meetings. Rule number 2 is really building upon that, right? Nurture genuine relationships by thoughtfully engaging on social media. So as you have friends, if I see that, Mario is right up at the top of my screen, so I'll pick on him, right? If Mario posts something about what's going on with his family, his kids did something cool, he's got cute new puppies, whatever, engage in those posts as a human being. Again, if Mario is posting about his puppies, it is not appropriate for me to come in and be like, hi, I do like whatever puppy photography. There's no photographers in the room, so I'm picking on them today, right? Like, I do puppy photography. You have cute puppies. Do you want to hire me? Like, that was not what he was looking for when he made that post. And it's not going to be a great way to promote my puppy photography business. But maybe if I'm like, hey, Mario, it was great to meet you at networking. Your puppies are so cute. I love puppies too. Like, let's chat about puppies sometime. That's going to be a great way to build our relationship and eventually move forward into doing business together. So that's the tips on kind of promoting your own business in a way that is not spammy and obnoxious. then we move into how to refer other people based on the relationships that you've built, right? We want to be genuine. We want to share honest testimonials. I'll give you an example. 2 summers ago, we needed to do work on our pool, right? And so I posted in one of the local groups, like, hey, who has a pool company? Everybody that we call is not returning our phone calls. Like, we can't get anybody to call us back. Some people literally just wrote a person's name and nothing else in the comments. Other people wrote, oh, we've been using this company for years. They're great. They always return our calls. They go above and beyond. Here's how they've helped us. Who do you think I'm more likely to call, right? Of course, it's the one where I'm getting more information, more context, genuine, honest testimonials where I know that the person writing it has actually interacted with that business before. Now, the important thing to also remember is that unlike when you're having a conversation in person, when you're speaking on social media, it's like having a conversation, but you're yelling into a megaphone in the middle of Yankee Stadium, right? So everybody gets to listen in on that conversation. And so, if I want to recommend my friend, the puppy photographer, but I actually have like 3 or 4 friends who all do the same thing and they're all fantastic. Maybe when I comment, I want to mention all of them. And I want to be aware that everybody is kind of seeing my comments, and I don't want to damage any of those existing relationships, right? By highlighting one and not the other, or feeling like I'm not acknowledging those relationships, right? If I feel for some reason like one in particular is going to be the best fit, maybe that's something better taken to a private message, right? So I can say, hey, Mario, your puppies are super cute. I know you want to get photos of them. I'm going to PM you. I have a great idea. And then I can send him a private message and say, oh, you want to work with this puppy photographer, not that one, because, this one specializes in the type of puppy that you have and they're going to take the best pictures or whatever. So you can take it to private message so I don't end up damaging those relationships that we've now worked so hard to build through those other strategies that we just talked about. And then the final rule, always seek to give more than you expect to get, right? We always want to look for ways to add value. Never assume that anyone owes you anything in return. So just because, somebody gives me a referral doesn't mean that I'm obligated to turn around and give them a referral, or vice versa. The same way that's not how we operate in our meetings, right? There's other networking groups that have like quotas, you have to come in every week having passed a certain number of referrals to certain people. And we're all in master networks because we don't like that model. And so we don't want to all of a sudden slip into that mindset just because we're existing on social media. So if we always kind of show up with that abundance mindset to give, to add value, we put that good karma out into the universe, and good things always come back when we do that. So those were my 4 little quick tips on how we can really show up and utilize social media as a tool to continue to expand our network and all continue to grow our businesses. So thank you for taking the time to listen.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Does anybody have any questions on what Rachel was talking about? Great presentation. Any questions at all? Just raise your virtual hand or your real hand. Susan, go ahead.
Just want to say what Rachel just described truly works, and truly I have a very high % of my business coming from not what I post on social media, but recommendations that people give on social media. And if we can all lift each other up, you know what? I think it's just let's all rise on a rising tide. So thank you for sharing that concept, Rachel, because I fully agree with you.
Thanks, Susan. Anthony.
Hey, great job, Rachel. I think we've all seen it where someone starts making the pitch in the comments section and everyone's like, it's like watching a train wreck happen, right? Like, like you want to look, but not really. So the other thing I would throw out there, when you're making a recommendation to someone that, through the group perhaps, or someone that you've worked with or whatever, one of my biggest thoughts on this is just that I wouldn't mention anything about the group. I would just say like, hey, talk to Rob. He's a great brand builder. I think he can help. I like to tag their personal page, their business page, and put their phone number, because in my mind, the first one to potentially put the phone number in there where they have to do just that much less work sometimes makes a difference. So that's just my personal preference, but great job today, Rachel.
Thanks, Anthony. Mary Beth.
Great job, Rachel. I loved number 3, which is the referral that you have actual worked with somebody before. I get a lot of my work on Facebook as well, and I so appreciate everyone who tags me, no matter how you know me. But I think when you see somebody like, I'm going to use Jennifer as an example. Jennifer is my financial advisor. So when somebody asks for a financial advisor, I can personally say, oh, it's not that she's just nice. It's just that she set up our retirement in a place that my husband's out fishing now. So, so it's nice to have that actual genuine referral. The other thing I was going to say too was when you're tagging people, I think it's really important to find out where they want to be tagged, because I don't accept a lot of clients as my personal Facebook because I do talk about like what I had for dinner and that my dogs are driving me crazy. So I have a personal Facebook page that I think it's important to find out if that's what you want tagged, because you want to drive if you're going to be tagged and you're going to be referred, you want to be referred where you'll get the results. So I think that's important as well. But great job, Rachel. I loved it.
Thanks, Mary Beth. And I just want to add, the highlight for me is what I love people to keep in mind is whatever you put on Facebook, because we know there's a lot of drama there. That's because what you put out there, you have to think ahead. What are the consequences or ramifications or the repercussions coming out of that? So think ahead. There's people, like Rachel said, it's like a megaphone. You're speaking to an arena of people. Everybody's listening, everybody's watching. So remember what you put on there. Think about the potential consequences, good and bad, through your referral. But great job, Rachel. Thank you so much for putting that together. We have recorded that, so we can put that on the YouTube channel. Go ahead.
Can I just add one thing in response to what Mary Beth said, because some of you may be thinking like, oh, I've had the same financial advisor for 20 years. We're happy. I'm not going to switch to Jen. Does that mean I can't refer her? And here's what you can do. And this is something that I've actually done. So Len Roche isn't on the meeting today, but I actually talked to him several years ago about insurance. And he ended up saying, you know what, you should stick with what you have. You have great coverage. Don't change. I can't do better than this. So I don't use Len for my insurance, but I often refer him and can point to that interaction and talk about what an honest person he is, and that he was more interested in my well-being than in just getting the business. So that's where bond comes in, because as you are getting to know people and you're building those relationships, you can still have honest, genuine testimonials about people, even if no money has ever exchanged hands between the two of you. So it's so worth it to spend the time doing those face-to-faces, having those conversations, because you can still speak to somebody's genuine character, even if you've never done business.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel. Well done. And I would just have a few minutes left, so I'll turn it back over to Jeff.